Video is called "Stop Taking Things So Personally." A lot of people need to watch this video, guys, because a lot of people take a lot of things personally. When at the end of the day, it's everybody's first time living, and something that is offensive to you or you don't like, maybe like common or not nearly as bad to somebody else. Everybody's different. Not enough people accept that. Let's get into the video.
You need to stop taking things so personal. Now, in today's video, I want to talk about the importance of not taking everything too personally.
I love videos like this, guys. Just videos of someone spitting some real shit with some relaxing music in the background. I fuck with this heavy.
Now, as somebody who's been an overthinker for a long period of my life and still tends to overthink a lot of things, more recently I've started to realize the importance of just taking a step back, looking at the bigger picture, and actually thinking about something.
Real shit. Real shit. I overthink a lot of things too, and like, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. This video is also for me. Just putting that out. The video is also for me. Sometimes I care about what people say, and I overthink, or I'll go into a situation trying to figure out the outcome of the situation before even making an action. Like, it's just unhealthy in my opinion. So I'm very curious on what bro has to say. Maybe bro got just some knowledge that I can take in.
For stepping to whatever conclusion. Now, I know that kind of contradicts the point of not thinking about it too much, but there's a difference between overthinking something and rationally thinking about something. It's very easy to jump to a conclusion based on previous patterns, assumptions, and feelings you may have towards the matter. I'm gonna tell you guys a story about a situation where I once looked at it in the overthinking way, and something very recently where I decided to not look at it the overthinking way, actively pausing, reflecting on why I was feeling that way, just saying, you know what, I know it isn't this way, and then finding out that it in fact was not the way that I thought it was. It ended up being completely fine. Yet if I'd listened to that assumption, I would have got angry about it, I would have beat myself up over it, I would have questioned the point of why this was happening, and I would have held or at least harbored some form of resentment or ill will towards these people, which is not something I want to do and something I've been actively trying to change. So before we...
Guys, I'm listening. This guy is talking and explaining shit like I think. So I'm locked. I'm super engaged.
Get into that. Why is it so important to not take things so personally? Well, there's a couple of reasons, but the main one is that your peace should not be poisoned by other people's actions and decisions. I understand that there are times where the people closest to you will genuinely do something that will make you feel sour, ill will, upset, angry, feel a bunch of emotions that you may not be able to control. But I more mean that there's going to be times where someone's going to do something that will annoy you. You may take it personally, or you may take it as an attack on you and your character, when sometimes it isn't more a reflection of you and your specific interaction with them, but more of a larger issue at play.
Yeah, dude. If you're looking at something or a situation in general and it's bothering you, even if you have nothing to do with the situation, listen, it's okay to have an opinion on a situation, but to let your opinion on a situation really affect how you feel, that is unhealthy. I used to do that a lot. I used to have my opinions, and if someone was not doing something that I liked, it'd be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You're just fucking wasting your life. You're fucking wrong. But, you know, I gotten older, starting to think and starting to be more accepting that everybody's first time living. They're living their life, I'm living mine. Why would I let their life affect mine if they don't want my opinion on it? And a lot of people don't understand that, and like, I understand why. Because it's easy to feel like the world evolves around you. It's super easy to feel like the world evolves around you, because you are experiencing life every day from your perspective. And that, I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does. It's like watching a movie from a person's perspective. And it seems like they're the good guy, but near the end, plot twist, you realize from someone else's perspective, the main character has been doing everything wrong, has been wronging this person the whole movie, but you had no idea because you weren't in their shoes. I feel like that's why it's easy to feel like you're the main character in the fucking world, because you only have your perspective, unless you are actively taking yourself out of your perspective, which a lot of people don't fucking do, or bare minimum can't do, that's also a thing. Some people genuinely just cannot see things from other perspectives. which is crazy to think about. It's crazy for me to think about because I can see anything from anybody's perspective. But some people genuinely can't do that shit, and it's crazy.
And it's important to protect your peace because in a world where everything's trying to take your peace all the time, always.
Dude, Yama, you're saying it goes without saying, but some people genuinely don't give a fuck. Some people are like, I don't give a fuck. They should know this, and are just not understanding.
Trying to distract you and keep you away from feeling just normal and at peace within yourself. Why would you want to let anything else take that away? Doesn't mean you have to be the most spiritually in tune or the most calm person of all, but not allowing things to get in.
Oh my gosh, I know I just paused it, but I have to say this. Like he's spitting. Because it's okay to be human. It's okay to feel things. It's okay to feel things. It's okay to get angry at something, even if it doesn't involve you. But there's no reason to let that anger simmer. Let that anger sit. You need to take a step back and realize these are emotions that you're feeling in this moment. And like an hour from now, these emotions are going to be dulled. And you just need to give it time. You just need to give it time. Sometimes you just need to sit and ponder on an emotion. And then pondering on it will help you in turn get over that emotion. Understand why you're feeling that way
in your head and ruin your alone time and mentally drain you when
oh, okay, well, obviously it's common knowledge it's everybody's first time living, but when I say that I don't mean it as in like it's everybody's first time living. I mean like give people grace because there is a genuine chance they just might not have experienced what you experienced to let you know what you know. That's what I was saying when I said it's everybody's first time living.
It shouldn't. Like, that's something that I feel everyone should take a little step towards and actually try to make sure that they protect their own space and peace. The last thing you want to do after working all day is to come home and keep worrying about work, right? The last thing you want to do is worry about your financial situation or stress all the time. Of course, these things are important and you have to worry about them and you have to do your best to stay on top of them. But when you go into situations already stressed because you've let all that relaxation time be clouded by stress and negativity, you then pollute the next day, and then the next day, and then the next evening, and the next afternoon, and then you keep stacking up this constant clouded view. You start neglecting things like your health, your diet, your mental health, your friendships, relationships in the pursuit of the greater goal. You let the things that you know you need to do but really don't want to do be the only driving force in your life. Because those things mean more than the negativity you feel. You ever had a bad day and you absolutely did not want to go to work or do anything, but you ended up doing the thing you wanted to do least, which is usually going to work? And do you ever wonder why you did that? Most of the time it's because you have to, or you feel that level of
yeah, it's definitely just because I have to.
Responsibility, whereas you can't just not go. There are times where people, of course, pull out and don't go, but the large majority have to go because they don't have a choice. It's like the finance.
But also, side tangent, that's something I feel not enough people are grateful for. Like, yes, I don't want to go to work, but I have to, and that's why I'm going. But there are people on the streets who would actually like love to have your job. Not because in turn they would love the job, but because they have truly experienced having nothing. That just brings a type of appreciation in my heart. I don't have the right words to describe it. I'm really trying to think of them, but I don't have them at the moment. But it brings some type of, appreciation. Like I'm appreciative of the situation I'm in. As much as my situation can sometimes feel dull or like mundane because I'm doing the same shit every day, I'm appreciative that I have a job, that I can stream, that I can do the things I do. Because at the end of the day, I know that I'm not experiencing the worst of the worst. No matter how bad my day may be, I am not experiencing the worst of the worst.
Financial stability weighs more than everything else in their lives, usually for warranted reason, but they have to go regardless of those negative thoughts. If you can put protecting your peace, or at least just having a more clear mindset, to the same level of importance as going to do whatever work or whatever thing, you will feel better. It's not that these things aren't more important. It's just, why would you want to do the same thing anyway in a bad mood? Why would you not?
And that's the whole plot. You have a choice. There's not a lot of things in the world you can control, but what you can control is your emotions. It may be hard, but it's the one thing that you can't. It's like one of the only things you can control. So why be in a bad mood? It's obviously not all situations are like this, and it varies from person to person. But plain and simply, like, get into the fucking bone and fucking the bones and shit of the situation. You have a choice: be in a bad mood, be in a good mood. As hard as it may be to be in a good mood, you might as well try. Because if not, you're just going to be in a mad mood. It's going to make everything worse, everything harder to do. And sure, you won't be able to maintain that good mood all the time. And eventually you should, and it is healthy to express your other emotions. But you shouldn't always be stuck in a bad mood. There's no reason. For me personally, I'm never in a bad mood for longer than a fucking for like 30 minutes. And if I am in like a super bad mood, like something really pissed me off, I just go to sleep. I just take a nap. I take a nap, and when I wake up, it's like, dude, I don't care. I'm good. I'm good. Now, there are some situations where I'll round back and be like, hey, this was my opinion. This was my thoughts. Can we talk about it? Because, I'm human. Sometimes I want people to, I want people who upset me to understand why I was upset. But I only do that with people I care about, because these are people I'm interacting on a day-to-day basis with. I feel like they should know why this upset me, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. Because if something keeps on happening, then obviously they don't fuck with me like I fuck with them. Because if something I said or did mess with somebody to the extent where it bothered them for longer than an hour, either it's something that I cannot change or will not change, and we just gotta stop being friends, or it's something that I didn't mean to happen and that I can fix. Not fix. You shouldn't fix yourself for other people, but like, it's something that I can better myself on. Because I'm not perfect. I'm not the perfect human. I'm not a perfect person. There's so many things I can improve on. All I need is the actual constructive criticism to improve.
At least try to have a little bit of wins or peace for yourself prior to going into that situation. And that's where things like not taking everything so personal become so important. Because it's not the leading catalyst to making your mind clearer and keeping you in a kind of positive mental state, but it definitely helps. To not worry yourself with other people's problems or take every single action personally is something that's very, very important, and can just help you feel more in tune with your own self and thoughts, as well as allow you to help other people but not be polluted by their negativity. And that's something I've tried a lot to do more recently, is not allow any negative feelings, emotions, or thoughts whenever they occur to me or things happen, to let it pollute the people around me. Because the last thing I want to do is take my negativity and anger out on somebody else because of my own internal issues. Doesn't mean I don't talk about my issues or find healthy ways to express them, but it's definitely something that you should try to at least think about. Don't poison the closest people around you with your negativity, but that does not mean you can't talk about things and have moments where you need to vent. There's a difference between pushing your problems and making it someone else's problem and talking about your problems to someone else.
Genuinely. And I'm not going to even act like I know where that line is. Sometimes when I'm talking about my problems, I could be putting my problems on others. I'm still learning. But at least I'm trying to learn. There are people who will just like talk about their problems in a way that is pushing their problems onto others. And when those people are like, hey, you're kind of pushing your problems onto me, we could talk about this, but the way you're talking about it is like unhealthy. They just take it as, oh, so you don't want me to talk about my problems. Nigga, no, that's not what they're saying. They're saying the way you're expressing your problems is unhealthy, and that you should start working on a better way to express it that could eventually help you and help me. Like, it's a two-way thing. I'm not here just to fix your problems. Yes, I'm your friend, and yes, I will try to help you, but I'm not here to fix you. That's not what a friend is for.
And that's quite a big gap that I think people skip over. Because sometimes they'll feel like they're just making it at someone else's problem when they talk about it, and other times people will do it without realizing that they're doing that. It's a kind of a weird thing, but you'll definitely understand what I mean once you start having those conversations. Of course, do whatever's comfortable to you, whatever works best for you. What may work for me may not work for you. But back to the main point at hand. Besides your peace, one of the most important things to remember is in the times where somebody else's actions are actually genuinely that serious, and sometimes a situation where you would take it personal occurs because they do something to you, it's important to remember it's not always because it's specifically you. People's actions and behavior is usually about them rather than you. You'll hear this a lot through self-improvement talks or people who talk about people, and the truth is a good majority of actions, negativity, consequences, and habits come from some other external source, whether it's through trauma, their parents, their friends, their people around them. They may absorb a type of behavior or thing and then they may do that to you as part of what their subconscious is used to.
Genuinely. It's this is why I try my best. It's hard, and it's something I'm not always able to do. But I try my best in any situation to never judge somebody for their actions. Because who knows what happened prior to this that led up to these actions. If someone who is like 20 says something to me that I don't like or don't fuck with, I try not to judge them. I try to ask, why are you saying this? Are you or I ask, are you good? And some people take that as offense, like take that in a bad way. And I don't mean for it to be in a bad way, but sometimes you gotta ask somebody, are you okay? Like, what happened? You have 20 years of experiences that I don't know about. So I'm sure in 20 years something could have happened where it would make sense to why you're acting like this now. But a lot of people just take offense. Something's wrong. You think something's wrong with me? Something's wrong with you, brother. I'm just trying to figure out the problem. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. I'm just genuinely trying to figure it out. I understand why people take offense when other people are insignifying that they are the problem. But that's okay. So long as someone isn't like degrading you for being the problem, if they are having an honest conversation with you and saying, hey, I think you're the issue, have you ever thought about what made you act like this or where this is all coming from? To take offense to that is just to be not in an offensive way, just to be ignorant. Like, you are not willing to accept the fact that maybe something happened along the lines in your life that is causing you to act this way or feel this way towards this thing. And I can't comprehend that. Well, bare minimum, it's hard for me to comprehend that. Because in any situation I've ever been in, my first thought is, what could I have done to either avoid this, or what happened in my day, or what happened in my past that is making me feel the emotions I'm feeling in this moment? Why am I feeling this way? Because you can't solve a problem unless you know the problem. So the first solution is to figure out if the problem lies with you, and if it doesn't, then figure out why it bothered you. And if you have no explanation to why it bothered you, then it was probably something that the other person or other situation it was probably either the other person or something that happened in the situation that was the problem. But you should always look at yourself first. Not saying that you are always the problem, but usually, if something really bothers you, unless it's like fucking like racism or something, like it's usually something inside you that you need to fix.
You know, if you're somebody who's always lazy and brings a sloppy attitude to everything you do, and you hang around a bunch of people, like-minded people who do that, you're more likely to be just like them or worse, because you're always around that environment. You absorb what's around you, and you may push that onto somebody else.
Side tangent. He's getting his shit fried right now. He's getting his shit cooked.
So that's why it's both important to protect your peace and not push all that negativity onto someone else, like I was saying previously, because it does rub off on people.
And that's kind of what I was saying about, you should always look at yourself first, but not always assume you are the problem. You should always look at yourself first and figure out if the problem lies within. But sometimes the problem genuinely might lie in other people, and it's hard. I understand how hard it is to drop somebody, to like be friends with somebody and then realize that they're not the best kind of friend and just drop them. That's a hard thing to do. It's not easy, because if you've known this person for a long time, you are more comfortable with this person than you are close. And being comfortable with somebody is what makes it difficult to let them go. Even if you know that their energy is off and them as a person is not the person you want to surround yourself with, you are so used to hanging out with them that it kind of builds into that fear of the unknown. If you drop this person, who are you going to hang out with? What are you going to, like the activities you did with this person, who are you going to do them with? And I feel like that's why people find it hard to relieve relationships. Like relationships as in friends and as in boyfriend or girlfriend, technically. It's that fear of the unknown of like, what am I going to do? Who am I going to hang out with? And as scary as that fear may be, it should never be the reason you're hanging out with somebody or stay in a relationship with somebody, platonic or romantically. Because if you're just going to be unhappy, you're just unhappy at that point. You're making yourself unhappy, and it's going to build up resentment towards that person when that person might just need to work on themselves. And I understand why you would feel resentment, but you shouldn't feel resentment towards them unless there's like fucking 40 or 50, dude. If they're 40 or 50 fucking up, it's like that's them. That is them. But like if you're in your 20s, they just might need to grow up a bit. They might need to just change. Everybody changes. If you're 20, if you're 30 and you're the same person as you were 20, either you're a damn good person or you haven't changed at all, and maybe you should start looking into ways to change. Like, I find it highly unlikely that someone is exactly who they were as a 30-year-old to 20. Unless, like, I find it highly unlikely that you just had everything figured out by age 20. That's highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely.
So being able to acknowledge when there's a problem and being able to talk about it is important, but also being able to understand that things that have done to you or things that you do to people sometimes is more a reflection of the behavior instead of the actual disdain for that person. And the most important thing I want to talk about is the story that I mentioned at the start of the video. And I'm going to give you two situations with the same person. One time where I took it too personal, and the time recently where I decided not to take it personal. So on the first one, I'd reached out to one of my good friends at least like 10, 15 times. I would ask him random stuff like, oh, would you want to go here? Would you want to play this? Would you want to do that? And most of the time I got shut down, or I wouldn't get a response, or I'd get a kind of feeling that it was souring out. And there'd be times where I would tell him to get on, and then he wouldn't respond. Then I would see him online. Then the next day he would say, oh, sorry, I was on with them instead, or I do this, I do that. And after a while, I started building up this repetitive pattern that it was maybe I was no longer as close to this person as I thought. Maybe they didn't want to be friends anymore. Maybe they didn't like me. Maybe they didn't want to get with me. Maybe I was too hard to be around, or whatever the case may be. I was jumping to the conclusions that it was either a me problem or a him problem, or a both. But eventually, right, I decided one day I was just going to ask one last time, because I'd asked a good chunk amount of times. I hadn't received any follow-up messages regarding getting on or doing whatever, and I was just feeling like it was going out the door. I decided to try one more time, and to my surprise, he agreed. Then I ended up seeing him in person, and when I talked to him in person, I thought it was going to be a bit weird given all this built-up assumption I had. But when I actually saw him in person, there was absolutely zero of what I thought was going to happen. There was zero negativity, all positivity, completely normal. It was like he had never even considered that he was doing that. And then I kind of started to realize, damn, maybe it's just me overthinking this. Eventually, we got on the game, and I asked.
I mean, I can understand how you got to that conclusion. You asking your friend to get on, and they're just not responding. Okay, not responding is crazy. You see him on a game, I could see how he got to that conclusion. Me personally, I would have just asked him. Yo, first of all, three, trying to get on, no response. Okay, no, I'm not gonna lie. If there's no response, I'm not messaging again. You trying to get on? No. Okay. You trying to get on? No. Okay. You trying to get on? No response. Yo, so listen, I could be completely overthinking it. That's how I would start it. I could be completely overthinking it, but for the last two times, you weren't trying to get on the game. I saw you were on the game with other people though, and now you're just not responding. So I don't mean to sound like I'm taking it personally, but I kind of am. I'm kind of not. I don't mean to sound like I'm taking it personally, but I'm overthinking, and I just want a clear answer. Is there a specific reason why we're not playing the game? Yes or no? And if there is, what is it? If there's not, I apologize. My fault. I was just overthinking it. I have no problem apologizing for anything. I have no problem like being seen as someone who overthinks, because I mean, I do overthink. That's a part of me. It's something I'm working on. But like, if something's really bothering me, I'm always going to bring it up. Yo, what's going on?
Asked him about it, and then he gave me an explanation, which only further explained that I was wrong in my thinking. Not that his actions weren't weird or feeding this opinion, but it was that I went off patterns instead of actions. I was going off the assumption that he had done this, when in reality I know how he goes about it. I've talked to him about it before, and I know it's specific. Sometimes he just is very busy and just gets on in the moment. Like if he's at home and someone says get on right now, he will get on right now.
And see, that makes it make so much more sense. I'm still not understanding why bro is not responding, but seeing your friend on the game after they may have said they're not playing, they could have been busy and then they completely forgot about the message, and then someone texts them, "Yo, get on right now," and they're free. Dude, I wouldn't even think of that shit. I'm not gonna lie. In the moment, I'm not thinking of that shit. In the moment, I'm like, fuck this guy, fuck this guy, fuck this guy. But you know, this is why we gotta talk. This is why talking is so much more important than people think. People think, oh no, fuck words. His actions speak louder. No, nigga, talk to him. Listen. Actions do speak louder than words in some situations. But even if you do think actions speak louder than words, it never hurts to ask. It never hurts to talk. It doesn't hurt you or the other person. And if it does, it's kind of a personal problem. Why does it hurt to talk?
And we had a whole conversation. I won't go into the entire thing because otherwise this video will be a long time. But having that conversation, talking it out, actually hearing his point of view, and not as a justification for anything, saying, "Oh, I didn't do this, I do that," but just a genuine explanation on how things were. It made me realize, although some of my opinions and behaviors that I was calling out that he was doing may be correct, it doesn't mean that how I thought it was going was true. It ends up being one of those things where it really was just me overthinking it and making assumptions.
It's like the reasoning behind the action. The action itself was fucked up, but the reasoning explains why the action happened. Not justify. There's a difference between understanding and justifying. Well, it is different. There's a difference between making sense and justifying. Someone's actions beforehand can explain an action, but not justify it. And a lot of people think things need to be justified in order for the action to be right. But in reality, guys, so right or wrong is subjective, man. Right or wrong is subjective. Yeah, even if you both think it's wrong, that doesn't mean they're a bad person. Also, doing wrong and good and right. Wait, what the fuck? Oh my god, I just got that brain fart. Good and right, nigga? No. Wrong and right. Doing wrong and right actions does not make you a wrong or right person. You're just a person. Everybody is just a person. It's all in the eyes of the beholder. We just perfect example. Listen, most people in the world agree being a pedophile is completely wrong and disgusting. When we were watching the video beforehand, we discovered an association that was founded for people who want to legalize adult and minor, like, interlocking. What? To me, that's completely wrong. And there's nothing anybody in this world could say to justify that shit to me. But to them, that shit's unbelievably justifiable. And at some points, that's when you gotta realize right or wrong is subjective. There's no better proof than that. Right or wrong is subjective. It's not objective. It's simply not. As much as you want it to be, it's simply not. And that's just the world we live in.
Again. And of course, I have to remind myself that everybody isn't perfect. You know, I'm just as complicated as everybody else, but that doesn't mean there isn't some good in that. But with this new context in mind, the other day, there was a situation where I'd went out with this same friend and another one of their friends who I wasn't really close to came with us, and we were going for a gym session. And one thing I noticed was that there was a lot more two people talking, hanging out, than a group talking, hanging out. It was more of a like, he was the middleman, then I would yap to him for a long time, the other guy would kind of just stand there, and then it'd be the other way around. And I started to realize, like, towards the end of it, I was starting to feel kind of out of place. Because it was like, they were talking about all these references and things that I personally don't know much about. And of course, I did my best to communicate, talk, and actually engage and not be antisocial. But towards the end of it, when it was really going to the point where I just did not know what to do, in the back of my mind, I started hearing that familiar voice. Oh, maybe I'm not belonging in this crowd, or maybe I'm not supposed to be here, or maybe it'd be better if I leave. Just these negative swirling up thoughts of overthinking, insecurity, and things like that. So once the gym session had left and I went home, because I go a separate way, I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm just overthinking this. I think it's completely fine. I guarantee you I'll hear from bro the next day or the next few days, and it'll be completely normal as always. So I was walking home, beautiful day, sun was shining, the skies were blue, and on that walk I was just trying to be present in the moment and enjoy the day for what it was. That walk home and those couple minutes of reflecting made me feel so much better. Instead of just sitting with that negativity and ignoring it or putting it away or agreeing with it,
little side tangent. It is actually so difficult for me as a person to just be in the moment. I'm always thinking about something that's going to happen or something I need to do. Dude, it's mainly content, I'm not gonna lie. It's mainly just content. It's so hard for me to be in the moment nowadays. You're stressed, Dunk? I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed. Well, you know what? Maybe I am stressed, but I don't see it as a bad kind of stress. But it's I feel like it's healthy stress. I feel like it's such a thing as healthy stress. Like, you know, if you have something that you really want to achieve, like guys, I would rather chase, I would rather chase being a content creator for the rest of my life and not achieve it and be perceived as a fucking bum than not chase it. Like, then stop. And some days that's hard. Some days it's like, I don't know if I can do that because I know the people I would lose if I was perceived in their eyes as a bum. But I mean, this is what I want to do, man. This is what I want to do with my life. I want to create content. So if people perceive me as a bum because I haven't done it in the time frame they set for me in their mind, because the only way you perceive someone as a bum in my situation is if you think they either aren't going to succeed or they took too long to succeed. And to put a time limit on success in content creating space is kind of crazy to me. Cause it's kind of random. It's kind of random. You know, you need a video to blow up, or you need a clip to blow. You need something to get yourself in the eyes of a lot of people, and that's completely random. You don't know what's going to put you in the eyes of a lot of people until it puts you in the eyes of a lot of people. Main point, I'm stressed, but in a healthy way, because I'm stressed chasing my goal, my dream. You know, there always should be some self-inflicted stress, some not stress, but some self-inflicted pressure to achieve your dreams. Because if you don't have that pressure, what's pushing you? Nothing. That pressure is what pushes you to that pressure of not achieving is what pushes someone to achieve. In my opinion, that's my opinion. You know, I mean, also, yeah, understanding the algorithm does help a lot, but I'm not. I'm year one Batman, guys. I haven't even been doing this shit for a year. I have been doing this shit for a year.
Challenged it. I thought about it, and I let it go as it is what it is. If something happens, it does, but I don't think it will. Actively denying what I know was proven wrong only a few months prior. And by the time I got home and I started doing all my work, I felt a lot better. Lo and behold, 2 or 3 days later, I get a message from my friend. You know, we started our grind on a game we've been playing, and it was completely normal, if not better. And that, to me, was the confirmation of what I needed. It was realizing that it's not always how it seems. Of course, there's been other situations I've had where certain things were occurring too, and confirmations of both overthinking and non-overthinking. But it just made me realize that sometimes the best thing you can do is just not take certain actions or situations as personal and deem it as an attack on you and your character. Sometimes it's just in the moment and people are just ignorant. Sometimes they don't realize, sometimes it's done on purpose, but most of the time it isn't. So the best thing you can do is try to just protect your peace, not take everything at face value and assume that it's always a diss or negativities towards you, and actually just try relax for once. Because I guarantee you, it really isn't that serious most of the time. And there are going to be times where it is, but it's more important that you let those situations come and go. If there's going to be a day where that happens, let it be. Let it do what it's got to do. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to stress about it, it's better to stress about it in the moment when it's actually happening versus stressing about it up till the lead up, then when it's happening. But anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Dude, fucking W video. Own it, bro. Guys, unrealistic. This nigga's fire. With it all being said, that is the video. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, consider dropping a follow on the Twitch. If you like videos like this, you could join the Discord even and send in more videos, and we'll react to more videos like this. Holy shit! With that all being said, though, don't forget to spread love, peace, positivity, and I love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Adios. Boom, and that's the YouTube video.